Welcome to LEML building blocks. This video explains the types of building blocks used in the Learning Environment Modeling Language, or LEML. This video focuses on the building blocks elements of the LEML framework, which are highlighted on the screen. The Learning Environment Modeling Language, or LEML, is based on 5 building block types. These building blocks are designed to represent key characteristics of learning environments. These building blocks are information, dialogue, feedback, practice, and evidence. These 5 building blocks can be combined together to model diverse learning environments using a common language. This diagram model is an example of how the LEML building blocks can be combined together to create a design for a learning environment, in this case a collaborative group class session. Now let's look at the anatomy of LEML building blocks. First, the main symbol indicates the type of building block. The top line of text as the building block is a brief description of the element in the learning environment. For example, this may be listed as an overview of Chapter 1 reading or a final exam. The bottom line of text is how that element is represented in the learning environment. For instance, this may describe a specific tool in a learning environment, a learning management system like a discussion forum, or how the element is presented in a classroom environment, such as a live presentation. These 3 elements communicate a tremendous amount of detail about what that element does within the learning environment. The building blocks that make up LEML are designed to represent as much of the learning environment as possible with the fewest number of elements. The building block type is designed to communicate a basic taxonomy of the design of learning environments, while the descriptions input in each building block provides a more concrete description of what that element is represented within the learning environment. Now let's look at the building blocks individually. The information building block represents elements in the learning environment that present information. This often includes things like web pages, journals, videos, or animation. The goal of an information building block is to transfer information to the learner. In most cases, this is presented in a passive form of media the learner consumes with the content with little interaction needed beyond navigating the media. The dialogue building block describes communication or collaboration elements within the learning environment. For example, this may include a class discussion, peer debate, or a group discussion. The interaction is often focused on communicating ideas or supporting collaborative processes. The next building block, the feedback building block, represents opportunities where feedback is built into the learning environment. As a common example, feedback is often provided from an instructor on an assignment or an essay or something along those lines. In contrast, an instructor may seek feedback from students about how the course is progressing and areas that are confident that are needing to be dealt with, or where the student feels confident or feeling unsure of a particular piece of content. The feedback building block represents results from another building block, mostly likely a dialogue, practice, or evidence building block. The practice building block describes opportunities in the learning environment to apply and practice skills. This building block describes application-focused learning processes. Often this process involves creating, analyzing, solving problems, and can be conducted individually or as part of a group. For instance, a problem set in a math class would be likely an example of a practice building block, where the learner must practice applying a set of skills to achieve a goal. The goal driving the practice building blocks is often the application and practice of knowledge and skills. The 5th building block, the evidence building block, represents opportunities where evidence of learning is presented in the learning environment. For example, a student works several weeks to develop a persuasive essay. Several opportunities for practice were offered, and the instructor contributed 2 rounds of feedback. Then the student submits a final version of the essay to an online assignment Dropbox. This essay is an example of evidence of learning. In an evidence of learning building block, we'll often see that this is connected with a feedback building block because it's an opportunity for the instructor to provide feedback there in a summative format. So as a review, the learning environment modeling language is based on 5 building blocks. These building blocks are designed to represent key characteristics of learning environments. The building blocks are information, dialogue, feedback, practice, and evidence.